Welcome to Cozy Reading Club, the podcast where we read the book and tell you about it so you don't have to.
Glad to be here.
Today, we're diving deep into the very first book of Homer's Iliad. We've got some historical context on Homer, the poem itself.
Right, and the actual text of Book 1.
And our mission really is to unpack that initial spark, what actually kicks off this massive epic conflict.
Exactly. It's fascinating because, Homer doesn't start with the why of the Trojan War itself. Not really.
No Trojan horse right at the beginning then.
No, not yet. Instead, he throws us, straight into the deep end. There's a crisis already unfolding, a devastating plague in the Greek camp.
Okay, a plague. But it's not just bad luck, is it? There's a reason.
Oh, definitely not just bad luck in Homer. We find out pretty quickly it's divine anger. Specifically, it's Apollo.
The god Apollo. Why is he angry?
Well, it turns out the leader of the Greeks, Agamemnon, has sort of messed up.
How so?
He's taken a woman named Chryseis as his war prize. The problem is she's the daughter of Chryses, who happens to be a priest of Apollo. And Chryses came to Agamemnon, offered a huge ransom to get his daughter back.
And Agamemnon refused.
He did. Worse, he insulted Chryses and sent him away. So the priest does what you might expect.
Praise to his god.
Exactly. He prays to Apollo for vengeance on the Greeks, the Achaeans for the dishonor.
And Apollo listens.
Immediately. Homer describes him descending from Olympus, furious, his arrows raining down plague onto the Greek camp. It's swift, it's deadly. People, animals, they're dying for days.
Wow. So a leader's personal arrogance causes suffering for the whole army. That seems important.
It's a huge theme right from the start, hubris and its consequences. Anyway, this goes on for 10 days.
And days of plague, someone must do something.
Right. It's actually Achilles who finally steps up. Seeing all the death, he calls an assembly.
The great warrior Achilles. Okay.
And in this assembly, they consult a seer, Calchas. He's the one who reveals the truth after making Achilles promise to protect him, of course.
Protect him from who? Agamemnon.
Precisely. Calchas knows telling the truth about the king is dangerous, but he does. He says, yes, it's Apollo's anger, and it's because Agamemnon dishonored Chryses and refused the ransom.
So the solution seems obvious then. Give the girl back.
Well, Agamemnon agrees reluctantly. But here's the twist. He says, fine, I'll give her up for the good of the army, but my honor can't be slighted.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. He demands another prize to replace Chryseis immediately. He needs compensation for his lost honor, his juras.
Compensation from where?
He threatens to take a prize from one of the other chief heroes. He actually names them Achilles, Ajax, or Odysseus.
She threatens to take Achilles' prize after Achilles called the meeting.
Exactly. Talk about pouring fuel on the fire, and this is where things really explode.
I can imagine. Achilles doesn't seem like the type to take that quietly.
Not at all. He just erupts. Calls Agamemnon greedy, shameless, always taking the lion's share of the loot, but never the risk.
Ouch. He really goes there.
He does. He questions why they're even there fighting. Says they came to win honor for Agamemnon and his brother Menelaus, but look how he's treated.
It sounds like a fundamental breakdown of respect.
Completely. And Achilles doesn't just vent. He makes a declaration, a huge one.
Which is?
He says he's leaving. He and his men, the Myrmidons, are going home. They won't fight for a leader who dishonors them like this.
Wow. Withdraws his forces. That would cripple the Greek army, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. Achilles is their greatest warrior. He basically says, you'll miss me when Hector starts killing your men, and then you'll regret this.
So how does Agamemnon react to that? Does he back down?
Back down? No way. He doubles down. He's furious too, calls Achilles a deserter, says he doesn't care if he leaves.
Okay, mutual fury.
And then he delivers the final insult. He says, since Apollo takes Chryseis from me, I myself will go to your tent, Achilles, and take your prize, Briseis.
He threatens to personally take Achilles' prize woman, Briseis.
He does. Just to show Achilles who's boss, who has the real authority.
Okay, this has gone way past a simple argument. It feels like violence is about to break out.
It almost does. Achilles is so enraged, he actually puts his hand on his sword, ready to, strike Agamemnon down.
But he doesn't.
He doesn't, because just at that moment, divine intervention again, the goddess Athena appears.
To Achilles. Can anyone else see her?
No, only Achilles sees her. She's been sent by Hera, queen of the gods, who actually cares for both Achilles and Agamemnon and doesn't want the Greeks to destroy themselves.
So what does Athena tell him?
She grabs him by the hair, tells him to stop, to use words, yes, lash out with insults, but hold back the sword.
And she offers him something, a reason to obey.
She does. She promises him that, in the future, he'll receive gifts 3 times as valuable to make up for this current humiliation, if he just obeys now.
So Achilles listens to the goddess.
He does. He's angry, but he respects the gods. He puts his sword back. But the rage is still there.
Is there anyone trying to, calm things down between them on a human level?
Yes, thankfully, old Nestor steps in. He's the wise, elderly counselor figure.
What does he say?
He tries to mediate. He tells Agamemnon he shouldn't take Briseis, that it's wrong, and he tells Achilles he shouldn't challenge the king's authority. He appeals to both their sense of reason, reminds them of past heroes.
Tries to get them to see the bigger picture for the sake of the army.
Exactly. He emphasizes Agamemnon's power as king, but also Achilles' incredible strength. He begs them to reconcile.
Does it work?
Sadly, no, not really. The words are wise, but the damage is done. The anger is too deep.
So the argument ends, but nothing's resolved.
Pretty much. Achilles repeats his vow. He's withdrawing. He says the Greeks will suffer. They'll long for him when Hector presses them hard, and Agamemnon won't be able to help.
And then he just leaves the assembly.
He storms off back to his ships with his close friend Patroclus and his men. He refuses to participate in battle or council anymore.
Just completely cuts himself off.
Yeah.
What about Briseis? Does Agamemnon actually take her?
He does. He sends 2 heralds, Talthybius and Eurybates, to Achilles' tent.
How does Achilles react when they arrive? Is there another confrontation?
It's actually quite poignant. Achilles knows they're just following orders. He tells Patroclus to bring Briseis out and hand her over. He doesn't resist them.
Even though he's furious.
Yes. He respects the office of the heralds, perhaps, or maybe he knows fighting them is pointless, but he makes it clear they are witnesses to his dishonor. He lets her go, but he's described as being in deep grief afterwards.
So he loses his honor, his prize, and withdraws. What does he do then? Sit and sulk?
Well, he does more than sulk. He goes down to the seashore alone and calls out to his mother.
His mother, who is she?
His mother is Thetis, a sea goddess, a nymph.
Right, Achilles has divine parentage.
Exactly. And he tearfully tells her everything that happened. The dishonor, Agamemnon's arrogance, the seizure of Briseis.
And what does he ask her to do?
He asks her to use her influence with Zeus, the king of the gods. He reminds her of a time she helped Zeus.
A past favor.
Yes. And he asks her to go to Zeus now and plead his case. Ask Zeus to grant victory to the Trojans.
To the enemy. Why?
Until the Greeks are pushed back to their ships, desperate and forced to realize how much they need Achilles. Until they beg him to return and restore his honor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Playing hardball. Asking the gods to help the other side just to prove a point.
It shows how deeply wounded his pride is. It's everything to him.
So does Thetis agree to do this for her son?
She does. She's heartbroken for him. She promises to go to Zeus on Olympus and make the request.
And does she? How does that go?
She waits until the gods have finished feasting, then goes to Zeus. She makes this very emotional appeal, kneels before him, touches his knees and chin.
A formal supplication.
Exactly. She lays out Achilles' grievance and asks Zeus to honor him by helping the Trojans temporarily.
Zeus must know this will cause trouble, right? Especially with his wife, Hera.
Oh, he knows. He's reluctant at first. He says Hera will be furious. She already complains he favors the Trojans too much.
Hera supports the Greeks, doesn't she?
Brilliantly. So Zeus anticipates a big argument, but Thetis presses her case, reminding him of that past favor.
And Zeus gives in?
He does. He gives his solemn, irrevocable promise. Homer describes him nodding his dark brows, and the whole of Olympus shakes. It's a done deal.
So Zeus is now secretly committed to helping the Trojans win, at least for a while.
Yes. But, Hera saw Thetis talking to Zeus. She immediately suspects something.
And confronts him.
Oh, yes. As soon as Thetis leaves, Hera lays into Zeus, accusing him of plotting behind her back, always favoring the Trojans, undermining the Greeks.
How does Zeus handle that?
He basically tells her to be quiet and sit down, reminding her very forcefully that he's most powerful god and she shouldn't interfere. He even brings up a time he punished her severely before throwing her from Olympus, I think.
Yikes. So tension among the gods mirrors the tension among the mortals.
Absolutely. The divine family is just as fractured, but then another god steps in to try and smooth things over up there.
Who's that?
Hephaestus, the god of fire and craft, Hera's own son. He basically tells his mother, look, don't provoke Dad. It's not worth it. Remember what happened to me when I tried to help you.
He got thrown from Olympus too, didn't he?
He did. So he urges peace, serves nectar to all the gods, acts the cupbearer, and kind of awkwardly gets them all laughing.
So an uneasy truce is restored on Olympus.
For the moment, yes. They feast, Apollo plays the lyre, and then they all go off to sleep in their respective homes.
Okay, while all this drama is happening with Achilles and the gods, what about Chryseis, the original cause of the problem?
Right, back on Earth, Agamemnon actually does follow through on returning her. Odysseus is chosen to lead a ship back to her father, Chryses.
Odysseus, okay. A key figure.
Yes, they take Chryseis along with offerings, a sacrifice for Apollo, a hecatomb, like 100 oxen.
So they perform the proper rituals.
They do. Odysseus returns Chryseis to her father, they make the sacrifice, purify the camp, and pray to Apollo, and the god is appeased. The plague finally stops.
So one problem solved. The plague ends.
Yes, the immediate divine threat is lifted. But the human conflict Agamemnon started, that's just beginning.
Because he took Perseus.
Exactly. He got rid of the plague, but he created this huge rift with his best warrior. Achilles is out of the fight, nursing his anger, and Zeus is now bound by oath to help the Trojans.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Book 1, the stage is truly set, isn't it? A personal insult, a clash of egos, divine meddling.
Yeah.
It's all escalated incredibly quickly.
It really has. From a priest's plea to a potential disaster for the entire Greek campaign, it shows how fragile alliances were, how central honor was, and how involved the gods could be.
It leaves you wondering, how will the Greeks manage without Achilles? His decision to withdraw feels monumental. What does this opening conflict tell us about the values, maybe the flaws, of this heroic world?
That's the question Homer leaves us with, isn't it? It highlights the tension between individual glory, kleos, and collective responsibility, between personal honor, Time, and the common good, and it sets up Achilles' own tragic journey.
It's definitely a powerful cliffhanger. We see the Greeks appeasing one god, only to have the king of the gods now plotting against them, all because of this internal feud. What happens next?
Well, we'll have to see how the battles unfold without Achilles, and how long Zeus intends to let the Trojans dominate.
We certainly will. Join us next time as we continue unpacking the Iliad. Remember, this is Cozy Reading Club, the podcast where we read the book and tell you about it.
So you don't have to.
This was Cozy Reading Club, the podcast where we read the book and tell you about it so you don't have to. If you like this series, we invite you to take a look at other series in our podcast and leave a nice review on the platform you are listening this on.